Uh-oh. Uh-oh. For some reason, intro is not playing. Hold on a second. Let me try that again. Uh-oh. For some reason, it's not playing. All right. Yeah, maybe we'll just go without it tonight. I don't know what the heck's going on. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, all right. Train wreck number 1, Neal. For some reason, the intro would not play, so we're just gonna go ahead and go live. So, welcome everybody to Wolfpack Wednesday. This is episode number 1. Obviously, train wreck. So I don't know why the intro wouldn't play, but it doesn't matter because we got a great show for you guys tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. So. I guess this is so I want to introduce you guys to my co-host Neal, the real unwoke. Neal's been on LWN once before, I think, or twice before. I've been over on his show a couple of times, and we've collaborated and just really had a great time, great chemistry, and so we decided. Well, we've been planning this for almost 2 years, really. It's been at least well over a year. I've been wanting to do this show for 2 years. I wanted to call it Wednesday Wolfpack, and we decided to go ahead and move it to Sunday, so we're going to call it Wolfpack Sunday. And Neal is going to be the co-host most of the time, but if there are times that he can't make it and stuff, we are going to have guests on the show, other alpha males with Neal and myself, or sometimes it might be me and another alpha. But so what you can expect from this show, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my co-host. What are some of the things, Neal, that our audience can expect from Wolfpack Wednesday or Wolfpack Sunday?
Well, one thing for sure, and thank you for the introduction, despite not gracing me with that fantastic intro that you have, but nonetheless, I think that, you guys can expect the unvarnished truth. We hold no, we're going to be absolutely delving into things from a different perspective, guys, that's going to probably hurt some feelings. I think that if you guys want the truth from an objective lens, this is going to be the show you guys are going to want to tune into.
Absolutely.
For sure, and like LW said, we have been working on trying to get this thing going for quite some time now. But we're here, and I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm excited, and I look forward to many more shows ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys can expect a man's point of view, a real man, a man's man, right? And we're going to dive into topics that men talk about. So we talk about our wives, we talk about our children, we talk about our jobs, we talk about the economy, we talk politics, we talk about work, we talk about sports, we talk about recreation, just a multitude of conversations that you hear the guys at work always getting around and talking about. And sometimes, it makes us angry, and sometimes it might even tug at your heartstrings every now and again. Some of the conversations that the men talk about, problems and issues and health issues that they're going through. So this is an insight to how men talk and what they talk about. And, there's a lot of people out there that may have never experienced that conversation with you're a man or a woman. There's a lot of people that are just kind of loners, and they kind of just stick to themselves, Neal. And that's kind of what the wolf pack is. We are alpha males. We do run alone. Neal has his own show, The Real Unwoke. I have my own show. But I tell you what, when you get 2 alphas, 3 alphas together, and they can put egos aside and they can put pride aside, man, it's a very powerful thing when you can get real men together and talk about the issues at hand and come up with, scenarios and different types of ways to solve those problems. Now, can we solve every problem that the world has? No, we can't. But boy, I tell you what, alpha males, they really just don't care if they hurt people's feelings, you know. And I would consider Donald Trump an alpha male. He puts it out there. He doesn't care whose feelings he hurts or whose toes he steps on, because he's got an objective, and the objective is to win and to make America great again. And he is not going to stop or let anybody stop him. And so, first topic that we'll dive in tonight is what the hell is going on with the stock market now?
Oh man. Well, I see what I see is a lot of uncertainty out there, man. And I think markets respond better when there's a level of predictability. And I see with the tariffs that Trump's imposing, it's having like it's kind of a ripple effect across the, worldwide. Trump's he knows that this is his last term. He has to actually effectuate something this time, as opposed to his first administration, where he was stonewalled by every opportunity he tried to take advantage of by the Democrats. I think this is his time to really, really try to knock out some of these policies, and one being the tariffs. It's going to be some short-term pain. I think that, we have to buckle up. We have to accept the fact that, it took probably more than 4 years to get us to where we're at right now. Because, you got to think about Obama. Obama put some things in place that, had some detrimental effects. And then along came the crypt keeper, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. He instituted some things that, Trump's got to pull us out of the mud, And I think it's gonna, the market's gonna, it's gonna have some uncertainty. That's why you see things kind of volatile as they are right now. But I think there's a means to Trump's madness, as some would put it, and just buckle up for the ride.
Well, there is whispers that we might go into Iran even as soon as tonight, folks. Uh-oh. That's the whispers I'm hearing. That's phone calls I had earlier today.
Wow.
So with that happening, I also heard that banks were being called in today for the stock market. And as overseas trading starts earlier than we do, we might see some more fluctuation in the market come tomorrow morning. So pay attention to that, especially if we go into Iran. That could cause a lot of problems. And as far as the tariffs go, I believe, will, in the long run, help America. Again, there's going to be some casualties to that. There's going to be people that are going to get hurt. Yep. But, this is life. The only thing that you're guaranteed in life is change.
Yep.
And you may have to change occupation. You may have to change jobs. You may have to change the way you've always done things because of these tariffs. Listen, just because tariffs have been around since 1913, or since tariffs have been enacted and done away with since 1913, does not mean that that's the way that we should do business. Mm-hmm. That is all by design by the central banking system, and it's time to turn things around for America. So tariffs, are they good? Are they bad for America? I truly believe in the long run they are good for us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is also playing a part in the stock market. Yeah. But here's the other thing. Buffett went out and said that what Trump is doing with the stock market is genius and should have been done 50 years ago. So here's my question to the audience. Is Donald J. Trump crashing the market on purpose? Is this the Great Reset? Because they are talking about slashing with him doing what he's doing right now with the stock market. They're talking about slashing the interest rates by sometimes as high as half. So is that going to get the economy rolling again? If you talk about the interest rates on building a home or buying a home, if they cut that in half, is that going to drive people to go out and purchase homes again? Mm-hmm. So again, is it good? Is it bad? Are there things that are going to happen along the way? Yeah. I don't know, Neal. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, I see. I've actually heard that too. I heard that this is actually all calculated. However, I did just see a post. I don't know the validity to it. I don't know if it's true, but I see that the spokesperson for the White House, what's her name? Kevin. Oh gosh, I think. I can't remember the woman's name.
The press secretary. I know what you're talking about.
Excuse me. Yes. She just came out and said that that Trump didn't anticipate the market to crash as it has. he wasn't. They're saying that this wasn't a calculated move, but I don't know. I think that Trump's just like his military policy. Maybe he's probably holding out a little bit. He's not trying to be as maybe he just wants to make things a little bit less transparent in that area because there's a lot of mire that we have to get ourselves out of. I think long term, like you said, the tariffs are going to have some really beneficial effects on our economy. I think short term, like I said, it's going to be some short term pain, but we have to stomach through it because if we don't take the initiative to actually make these international trade rates competitive, then it's going to have an effect on our economy. We have been taken advantage of for so long, and no one's going to step up to the plate and be as bold as Trump has about this. He's letting these countries know we're not going to be taken advantage of anymore. And I'm 100% behind them, and I support it. Yes, I do understand that I am a taxpayer and it's going to affect me in the short term. But look, I'm with it, man. I'm ready to take on whatever it is necessary for us to get to the promised land.
To the golden age, right?
To the golden age. There you go.
To the golden age, and these tariffs again. I back you 100% there, Neal. We have been taken advantage of as a country for decades. I'm not a fan of us getting taken advantage of. Like I said, there's casualties along the way, but for America as a whole, these tariffs are necessary to get the playing field for trade, world economic trade, back to a level playing field. And we have done nothing but given and given and given. We've allowed our exports to be tariffed, and then on top of it, we turn around and the American people are taxed to death. And then they take the USAID and the rest of these organizations that Doge and the rest of them have found corruption in, and they have sent money overseas to help these countries even after we have tariffs on our goods. The American people are getting taxed double and triple, and I mean beyond taxation in America. You get taxed for the money you make, you get taxed for the money you spend, you get taxed for your vehicle, you get taxed for your home, you get taxed when you die, you get taxed when you're born, you get taxed if you inherit property. I mean, tax, and then tariffed. Could you imagine a world where it was equal across the board, and whatever they tariffed us, we tariffed them, or eliminate all tariffs, and it just is what it is, and then Donald Trump comes in and gets rid of income tax, revenue tax, property tax, and all? Could you imagine the American people, how much we would actually flourish if we were no longer going to fund the crooked and corrupt politicians? And I don't mean just left. I mean left and right, center, all of them.
Yep.
They're corrupt. And I couldn't imagine living in a world where that all happened, and I would call that the golden age.
I certainly agree with you on that one. I did want to pitch something to you though, LW. Do you think, as a matter of principle, the tariffs make sense? Now, I get it that Trump's using a lot of these tariffs are more of as a means of leverage. But as a matter of principle, do you think going forward that would have a benefit? Would that be beneficial for us?
As far as
just because there's this school of thought out there where they're thinking that Trump is he's just tariff. He just wants to use tariffs as a means to bring back more economic prosperity for America. Do you think that as a matter of policy to keep the tariffs around long term would make sense, or is it you think to utilize these tariffs as a means of leverage to get these other countries to realize we're about our business? We mean business this time. Do you think that makes more sense to utilize the tariffs from a more of a leverage standpoint?
Yeah, I believe it's leverage. I don't think that the tariffs are going to be there forever. That's just my own opinion. I think that once the other countries out there decide that they're going to take tariffs off of our goods that we export, then Trump will do the right thing and take the tariffs off of their goods that are coming into our country. I think
I agree.
it's just a tool for him to use to say, hey, we ain't fucking around no more, and this is how it's going to be. And if you don't like it, if you're going to tariff us 25%, we're going to tariff you 25%. If you're going to tariff us 100%, we're going to tariff you 100%. It's a tool. And I think he's the only one with the balls that actually is going to stand up and do something about it. So, yeah I support it 100%.
Yep.
Is there going to be things that we're not going to like during this time? Absolutely. Are prices going to go up? There are some experts on the left that say, oh, all the prices are going to go up. And then there are experts on the right that say not any higher than they already are. They're just going to be this is all new, right? This is very new for America because we've never been in a position of power. And I feel like we're in a position of power. Like we are now calling the shots. If you remember back in Obama years and even Joe Biden, we were weak. We were weak on foreign policy. We were weak on domestic policy. We were weak on trade. We were weak for our military. They were constantly apologizing for being Americans.
Yep.
So this is a place of power for America. This is a man who, and I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, let the convict run the country, guy who filed bankruptcy 6 times, blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, he played the game. You guys wrote the rules for bankruptcy. You guys wrote the tax rules and all that stuff. He just played the game, and he beat you at your own game.
There you go.
So is this guy going to bankrupt this country? Well, here's a thought. If he does bankrupt the country, is it on purpose to reset the things that need to be reset? Is it to reset the national debt? Because if you look at it, what he's doing with the stock market right now, this could eventually lead to the fact that we do away with a lot of the debt on the national debt. And I don't know exactly how that all plays out. I've just heard other people talking about it, and I haven't really had time to research it yet. But is this part of his plan? You know, he's been thinking about this for a very long time, Neal.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think that I think we're, you can't have both. Trump cannot be, both this mad, maniacal, evil dictator and be a bumbling idiot at the same time. You got to pick a side. I mean, I think that Trump he knows exactly what he's doing, and I think that with the institution of Doge, like I'm still bewildered as to why anyone would have a problem with, with our government actually going in and gutting out waste and fraud. I don't know I don't understand that. I can't comprehend why that would be an issue. Wouldn't that be something we would advocate for? Wouldn't that be something that we would support? But, with all this, reactionary, with this opposition that we have, it blows my mind. I don't understand it. Trump's doing exactly the things we voted for him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And and honestly, after the tariffs, I hear that his popularity has risen. I mean, this is something that the American public we all fully support. We all are backing it. So I don't get the opposition, man.
I don't get the opposition either, and they were beat in the 2024 election. This is mandate. This is everything that we voted for. This man campaigned on this. He said, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to bring Doge in. We're gonna enact tariffs. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." So every red-blooded American that voted for Donald Trump, this is what we wanted. Now, as far as the left melting down and the opposition and all of them crazies out there, claiming that Trump this and Elon Musk that, I don't care. I don't give a damn. It is time for us to take America back. And we are taking America back. You, me, everybody in chat, all the listeners, all the viewers tonight, every one of us has voted for this. We are taking America back, and we're taking it back by storm, and we're not backing down. We're not letting up. We are going to get America headed down the right track to prosperity. Yep. And then I hope, that whoever comes behind Trump, whether it be J.D. Vance or the crazy talk of another term of Donald Trump, I really don't care. I just want it to continue going down the road of prosperity and not have somebody come in with executive orders and start canceling everything that he's doing, because that's what it seems like's been happening for the last 8 years. Is we had Obama, then Trump came in, did a bunch of executive orders, and then here comes Sleepy Joe. He does a bunch of, well, he didn't do any executive orders, but the puppet masters behind Sleepy Joe did a bunch of executive orders, and then here comes Trump with executive orders again. And just to be clear to the American people, executive orders are not law.
Right.
So what Trump is doing right now with the tax code is there are bills that are coming through the floor to Congress, then on his desk, that he'll sign into law. Once it's into law, then that, to me, is solidified in concrete. We're not turning back. We're not turning around. But executive orders just kind of gets the ball rolling, right, Neil?
Congress is they hold the power of the purse. And, you know, I think it's really important for us to understand the importance and the significance behind each branch. You know, yes, granted, Trump can sign a boatload of EOs, but you know, it's not until it flows through Congress, goes to the Senate. I mean, there's a whole entire process for this, and this is what our founders have set it up for, those checks and balances. So that's why I don't really fall, prey to or victim to the fear mongering that you hear out there. Really just blows my mind. But I wanted to touch back on the tariffs briefly. I think I just read something where China is trying to. I think they're trying to impose a retaliatory tariff, 67%. What you think about that, man?
Okay, Neil. My question to you is, what the hell do we send to China? because they don't allow that, right? They don't allow America to export goods to China. I think the best that we could do is maybe some of our crude oil goes to China, possibly. Maybe some of our grain goes to China. But other than that, and I'm not an expert, don't claim to be an expert, but I highly doubt that we have boatloads and boatloads of exports going to China, just because they don't really allow it, and they've already tariffed our stuff to begin with. So when it comes to China, I don't give a shit. Tariff us all you want, because China relies on America more than America relies on China. That's true. If China wants to tariff us at 66% or 67%, go for it, crazy, because Trump's going to turn around and we are going to tariff your merchandise coming to America, your goods, at 67%. Hell, sounds good to me. Get rid of the China shit off the shelf and let's start buying America made again.
Oh man, wouldn't that definitely be the outcome you'd like to see, man? I'm telling you, like, it blows me away that China is, as arrogant as they are, believe that they can compete with the United States. We are still a global superpower. And as you know,
we're the only one. We're the only one, and China is right there on our heels.
And I think that with Trump, unlike Biden and Obama, with Trump not capitulating to the Chinese, I think this shows the strength through peace. Or I may have that phrase back. Well, what is it? Walk with a
big stick.
There you go. Big stick.
Peace through strength.
Peace through strength. There it is. Yeah, this peace through strength mantra that Trump is that he's following. I think it sends a signal to all of the countries across the globe that, look, America's not fucking around. We're not messing around anymore.
No more. Nor are we a bunch of pussies. We're done with this shit. So here's something that I wanted to touch on. When we talk about Doge and Elon Musk, there's two topics I want to cover with you, Neil.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say them both so you have time to kind of think about them. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk stepping down from Doge? What does that mean to you? Will Doge continue down the path? Does Elon need to get back to his businesses, which I heard he's going to buy NBC, but that's just a bunch of rumor. Those are things that like to go out on Facebook to see if they get any traction, right? But how do you feel about these crazies that are out there vandalizing Teslas, burning Teslas, blowing up Teslas and doing all this stuff. So those are my two questions to you, Neal. What do you think about Elon stepping back from Doge, and what do you think about the I don't know whether to call them left or if they're just a bunch of crazies. They could be anybody, right? But obviously, they target people driving Teslas and Elon Musk. What's your thoughts on that?
So to your first point, I don't know. I see that with Elon Musk spearheading Doge, we've seen the things that we've seen so far, and I don't think that Doge would operate as efficiently without Elon Musk. I think he needs to hang in there.
But he's stepping back.
He's stepping back. Okay, so he's going to be stepping back. Kind of like in the
back. They
back.
made the announcement this week.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't even read into that. I don't know. I know that what we have been able to uncover with Elon Musk there has been completely, it's been it's been earth shattering, to say the least. You know, he has found so much fraud and so much waste because Elon Musk is a systems guy. You know, he knows how the systems work. So,
but I mean, they're attacking him globally. His sales are down in Germany. His sales down are all over the globe from Tesla. Yeah. So could that be playing a part for him? Yeah. Stepping back a little bit is, hey man, I need to get back to focusing on Tesla right now because these crazies are, attacking me everywhere they possibly can. Now him and Trump did talk about at the beginning of this that eventually he was going to step back. Like, I don't think the entire plan was for Elon Musk to be at the helm for the next 4 years. I think it was just a place for him to start and to get the team and the ball rolling, and then he was going to step back anyway. My brother John Estabrook says Musk has placed his team made up on this for the best and the brightest. So again, I don't think it was ever intended for Elon Musk to just totally be at the helm. He was going to go in there. Listen, I'm no fool. I believe that they planned this stuff, Neal, 4 years ago. After 2020 and the things that happened in 2020, I believe that this has been planned out, mapped out, and executed almost to perfection, the way they came in day one and just really took over everything. This is not something that they made up, January 1st and said, hey, in 20 days we're gonna do this and this. This is stuff that's been going on for 4 years prior to November of 2024. Yeah. So
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Well, I guess if you put it that way, I mean, if he's just stepping back and the Doge team will still just, continue to do their business and investigate and find the waste and find the fraud. If they're going to be still leading the charge of that, not for Elon to attend to his businesses, I think that's fair. And, granted, he's not getting paid for this. This is something he's voluntarily just, enlisted himself to do. So, that's fair. I am humbly appreciative of what Elon Musk has done either
Absolutely.
Or. Whatever he does, whatever he chooses to do in his business ventures. But I will say in regards to the degenerate, vile scum who are, vandalizing people's property and things like that, I don't understand. Again, maybe this plays into the left's kind of like illogical way of, or not even just the left, just these crazy lunatics that you described. Maybe just plays into their entire worldview where things are just completely inverted. But explain to me why it is any sort of benefit for you to vandalize a private industry's product. I don't understand. Like this is a private industry. This has nothing to do. Separate yourself from the politics and this man's private business. Like, how does it sound? Because I disagree with Bill Gates' policies or anyone's policies, that I go destroy their product because of that. That doesn't make sense to me. Again, this is just one of many examples of the entire left's, or just this entire worldview of trying to destroy what has been the entirety of our country, which is God-given rights, our protection, our sovereignty, and they're trying to eliminate that. And I think that for them to stoop this low to go destroy someone else's private property just speaks to the very nature that you cannot help these people. You cannot help these people.
Well,
Blows me away,
all right.
man.
Here comes LW. Now, I won't say that all electric vehicles are purchased by Democrats or by the left, but
Right.
they're the ones that push the Green New Deal and saving the planet more than anyone else. So I would say if I had to just take a wild guess on the percentage of Democrats or people who support the left purchasing electric vehicles versus conservatives, people who like to drive jacked up SUVs like I do, I would say it's probably like 8 out of 10 people, 80% of people purchasing electric vehicles possibly would lean to the left, right?
Yeah,
now, again, there are conservatives out there who buy the electric vehicles. And when I mean electric vehicles, I mean more than just Tesla, Chevy, Dodge. They all make them now. And are they a good product in certain circumstances?
Right.
I believe they have their place for sure. Now, I don't believe in Agenda 2025 or Agenda 2030 or California's Governor Newsom, who's trying to force people into only owning electric vehicles. I disagree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If my numbers are anywhere even in the ballpark of 80%, you are now going around, if you are on the left and you're angry as hell at Doge and Tesla and Elon Musk and Donald Trump and the administration, and you're going around and you're destroying only Teslas, for one, aren't you destroying the same people that are supporting Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Hills Up Harris, Jeffries, and the rest of all the kooks, Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them? So now you're going around and attacking your own people and destroying their property. And this is how stupid these people are. All Teslas have 360-degree cameras on them. Every person that has destroyed private property or Teslas in dealerships are getting caught and getting felonies because they're so stupid that these cameras are recording everything they do. This is insanity, man. I was just reading a post from a person that I know from my little hometown who put on there that Trump supporters are drinking Kool-Aid that makes up, down, down, up, and right, wrong. And I responded to that. I said, and this is coming from the party that thinks a man is a woman is a man, a girl is a cat, a boy is a dog. You're saying that the right is backwards when you guys keep promoting LGBTQ plus and all the other stuff that I heard from some people the other day that even animals are transgender. You guys are fucking crazy, man. This is some crazy ass shit. I can't even. I mean, I get wound up even talking about this stuff. But they're attacking their own people. They are destroying their own people's vehicles in protest over Elon Musk. Wouldn't it be better just not to buy Tesla than to actually create felonies, cause felonies, and go to prison for destroying? I mean, these vehicles are what, $150,000 vehicles. So that's a felony. I mean, it's just nuts, Neal. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the woke. The thing about this whole
woke are stupid.
These woke tards,
woke tards. There you go. I like that. Let's use that. Woke tards.
Woke tards. Ultimately, just that entire ideology in itself. It always ends up cannibalizing itself. Their own policies goes against their own policies goes against them. Like, they don't realize, like, think about it. The feminists who push for this egalitarian worldview, right? Everything's equal. We're all equal. The transgender ideology cuts right against that. When you got men playing in, female sports. So again, they always end up cannibalizing. Well,
it was the left that pushed women's power, right? And women's rights and how women should all be equally paid to men and all this stuff. So you got the left pushing that. Empowering women. Remember, that was a Hillary Clinton slogan, was empowering women. We got to empower our young women, which I believe that there should be gender roles. Like, the man should be the one who brings home the paycheck, and the women should be the ones that nurture our children, right? So I believe in that. And when you start elevating women to certain levels where they don't supposedly need a man anymore and all this stuff, it causes chaos in the family. But what's worse is you've been pushing this bullshit on us men. You've been pushing it on other women, and now you're going to turn around and say that man over there that stands 6'6",
right,
and breaking women's records in hurdles, or breaking women's records in basketball, or breaking women's records in swimming is a woman.
Right.
Why am I forced to accept your sickness, your illness, your crazy?
Right.
And if I don't, I got some type of phobia. No, what I got is common sense. What I got is logic. And if you got a wiener hanging, then you're a man. If you got a clam hanging, you're a woman. So to try to confuse our young people in that whole scenario, and try to ideology, inject them with the ideology of transgenderism and all this woke nonsense, man, it's really honestly, it's fucking our kids up. They don't have any clue what to think anymore, because they're poisoned. They are absolutely poisoned in our public school system, and then they go off to a university and they get even more poisoned. That is nothing more than a communist petri dish where they breed communism and they breed ideologies, and they really just fuck our kids up to where when they come out in the real world, they don't have a clue how to even operate, Neal.
I agree. And, I'm a strong proponent to, bringing back the patriarchy. We need to bring back the patriarchal order, where the man is the head. The man is the head. Social constructs don't adhere to reality. We can tell ourselves, you can self-ID as whatever you want, but, fine. If you're a fully grown adult and that's what you want to do, fine. Keep it away from the kids. That's all I ask,
Yeah, exactly.
Children they're innocent. They're not able to consent to these things, and they're very young. They're impressionable. So when you think that you can just impose this sick, explicit content into their minds, if you just think you can just impose that with no sort of pushback, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And I'm really happy to see more parents attending these school boards and, these meetings and things like that, and speaking up. And,
Trump signed an executive order to make it to where they're no longer considered extremist or domestic terrorist, because that's what parents were labeled back in somewhere between 2020 and 2023, when they were fighting back over COVID-19 and mask wearing and injections and all this other stuff. They went to these school board meetings and they said, not our kids. You're not going to do this shit to our kids. And they were arrested. They were reprimanded. They were kicked out. They were labeled, and I shit you not, they were labeled domestic terrorist. Our parents that are out there fighting for their kids were labeled domestic terrorists. But yet we got people crossing our border and the shit going on with Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all the weird shit that was going on, where they were burning down police stations and burning down homes and doing all the crazy shit they did in 2020. To this day, they still have not labeled them anything. Nobody has ever been prosecuted for that, Neal.
Of course not. Of course not. Why would they do that? That'll cut against the very narrative they're trying to promulgate. Listen, the left are so indebted to continue to push this false ideology that they are completely disenfranchised right now. They have nothing to stand on right now. That's why their numbers are plummeting right now. Last time I checked, I think the Democratic approval rating was at low 20s or something like that. They're not going to come back. There's not going to be any sort of restoration of their party or their policy until they let go of this crazy ideology, this woke ideology. It's not going to do us any good. It's not going to serve us in any way. I think that Americans are starting to find a common sense of unity, which is great, because we once knew that the family is the fundamental backbone of every community. It is the families that we need to restore back into this country. Marriage rates are plummeting. Degeneracy is soaring. It's time to level set. It's time to do a great reset. And I hope that Trump is going to be instrumental in this great reset that I feel. And I feel a shift. I feel a shift. There is a global shift, primarily in America, but I see that there is a shift going on right now where men are starting to stand up and men are starting to speak out.
Yeah, they are. They have really woken the giants. The alpha males are standing up. They're not putting up with this shit no more.
Nope.
You see them all the time. You see them on Joe Rogan. You see them on Sean Ryan's show. You see them all over the place standing up and saying, enough's enough. We're not going to tolerate this any longer. And this whole MAGA movement, this whole Trump movement, this whole America First movement is exactly what the alpha males needed to get behind. They needed something like this to really stand up and say, you know what, I'm not alone anymore. I might roll alone, but me and my brothers, when you put 2 or 3 or 4 of us together, just like John Estabrooks when he gets on here with me and other alpha males that get on here, we're unstoppable. We're going to be unstoppable. We're going to continue to put the truth out. We're going to continue to call the assholes out that are assholes, and the ideology that is just absolutely poisoning our families and our children. We're going to call it for what it is. We're not going to pussyfoot around no more. We're not going to dance around the issues. We're just going to call it straight. You are going to get from this Wolfpack show straight, honest, raw truth, and we're just going to lay it down. And if you don't like it, then this may not be the podcast for you. But we're tired of taking back seat to everybody else. It's time for the alpha males to start leading the charge instead of standing behind the crowd and just looking past everybody. It's time for you to step forward, get out in front, and really start making a difference in your community and in your home. Start being that father, start being that husband, start being the boyfriend or the son that you need to be, and start leading your family, leading this charge.
I agree. And as you were saying that, I was thinking back on the quote that Jordan Peterson had made, whereas you want to clean your room first before you get out there to save the world. You got to start by making sure your house is in order. I get it. As LW so eloquently put it, the wolf pack, alpha males, we tend to go at it alone. We tend to be lone wolves, and I understand that. Trust me, I understand that much more than you know. And sometimes we can find ourselves in isolated and a little bit ostracized because society tells men that it demonizes men for being men. Masculinity has been emasculated all across the board, and they're just making men feel as if there's no place and we're just obsolete to our modern day world. And don't buy into that. We are not second class citizens. Men matter. We built this world. We have completely built our civilization. Right now, men are still sacrificing their lives to make sure you and I can wake up and enjoy the modern conveniences that we have today. Our infrastructure, our power grid, all ran by men. Men matter, and I think that for society to scoff at the average man because he's not just some billionaire, millionaire, he's not some celebrity, for society to scoff at that guy and to put down that guy for just being a man and existing, I think is reprehensible.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Neal, and we love our women too.
Yes.
But it is important that God created men to be head of the household. Yep. God created men to lead. God created us to protect our family and to take those arrows that are thrown at us. And yeah, a lot of men out there over the decades, just like myself, have just really just been loners because, that's the alpha was pushed out for many years. They tried to castrate us. They really tried to promote the women above men, and they tried to confuse people with with same sex. And now they really just try to really do it with the LGBT and the transgenders, so everybody's neutral and there are no men or no alpha males any longer. So it's time for the alpha males, for the wolf pack, to just really really start uniting and getting out there and saying, you know what, enough of this shit. We're going to take it down. We're going to burn this bitch to the ground, and we're going to rebuild it. We're going to rebuild America. And I believe that's what Donald Trump is doing today. He is burning this shit to the ground.
Burn it down.
And then he is going to rebuild it from the foundation up, and America is going to be stronger because of it, and we're going to be proud Americans again. And damn it, we're taking America back, and there's no stopping us.
And ladies and gentlemen, this can happen in our lifetime. This can happen within a matter of, a few short years. Don't listen to all of the fear mongering. Don't listen to all of the doubt that the left is trying to instigate. Don't listen to that, because they want you to believe that you are helpless. Once upon a time there was a very significant and important creed we used to follow as Americans, and that is, ask not what your country can do for you, but more so what you can do for your country.
Absolutely.
And I think we over time have nurtured this sense of dependency and reliance upon our government, when we forget we are the composition of our government. We the people. We the people, our voice matters, and I think what we have seen over, just a few short years, probably more or less 100 years or so, is a slow move towards entire nihilism, secularism, communism. We've seen all of these isms just find their way to just suffocate the moral fabric of our entire nation. And it's about that damn time we reignite our ethical principles and our foundation. And honestly, guys, those are Christian principles. Our country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, and
Amen.
we need to get back to that and understand what those principles mean. Those things, what our founders and what our ancestors have cultivated in this country has withstood the test of time. We still rely upon our Constitution to try to interpret the modern world that we live in today. So, I'd be remiss to say, don't let the left's fear mongering trick you into believing you do not matter. You matter. You absolutely matter.
Another creed that we're going to get back to. As we take America back, we're going to get back to this creed that we used to say every morning in grade school. I pledge allegiance to our flag, not to anyone else's flag. We pledge allegiance to the American flag.
There you go.
Right? And so how's the creed go? You want to say it with me there, Neal? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
States of what?
America.
Of America.
And to the republic?
And to the republic, not the democracy. It does not say and to the democracy. It says to the republic for which it stands. One nation. One nation. Not everyone else's nations.
Yep.
One nation, which is America.
Nation.
Under who?
Under God.
Under God. Not under Obama, not under Trump, not under anyone else, but under God.
Not under DEI.
Correct. Let's finish this.
Under God. Oh man. What?
Well, we messed it up, so we better start at the beginning. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of
America.
And to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. With liberty and justice for all.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
But there we have it, for liberty. And that's what we're fighting for. We are fighting for our liberty because it's been stripped from us over the decades. And justice for all. Not justice just for the left, not justice just for the right, but justice for all.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get back to that creed. We're going to get back to teaching that to our children. We're going to get back to living that creed. And we're getting back to taking America back, because I believe that that's what Trump is all about.
I totally agree with you, LW. And man, it's been some time since I've said our Pledge of Allegiance, and to
That's
just hear,
because nobody says it anymore. We
No
used
one
to say
says
it at
it.
basketball games,
Yeah.
football games. They've stripped us of all of that
yeah, it's been now it's
because it offends too many people.
There you go. There you go.
Guess what? If it offends you to pledge allegiance to the American flag, pack your shit and get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of here. You're not welcome.
You're not welcome here.
You're not welcome here. This is not this cup of tea is not for you.
Correct. Well, it's getting close here, Neal. Let's go ahead and roll into final thought.
Sure.
I really appreciate the fact that you decided that you're going to team up with me and be a co-host on Wolfpack Sundays here. And I'm excited for the topics that we're going to cover. It's not always going to be political. It's not always going to be about Donald Trump or policies. It's going to be about whatever we choose to talk about as men.
Yeah.
And, women are definitely welcome to listen to the podcast, but I'm really hoping to reach out and touch men out there, men who are listening that, they're sitting there going, man, I feel alone all the time. I know I'm an alpha. I know that I want to make a difference. Well, this is your podcast. This is for you men. Mm-hmm. This is for the alphas out there. So thank you for being on with us, our first episode tonight. And I'm looking forward to our future and the guests that we have on and the people that we bring in here. So Wolfpack Sunday is going to be one of my favorite shows to do. And just, I know that we're rough. I know the language sometimes is harsh, but that's what people need to hear. They need to hear from men. We're tired of sugarcoating shit. Yep. I'm just sick and tired of it. It doesn't get you anywhere to just dance around the issues. So Neal, I'm going to let you go ahead and lead first with final thought.
Sure, man. And again, I very much appreciate you having me on. I appreciate, you even thinking of me to be a part of this. I think this is going to be big. I think it's going to be powerful, very, very much so impactful to men abroad,
and young men.
We
want to reach young men. And I understand that parents don't want their teenage boys to maybe hear some of the language that we use or our guests will use. But I promise you, those young men, they've already heard it. They're hearing it at school. They're talking it probably themselves at school. They need to hear from men. And that's what I believe that this show is also trying to do, is reach young men.
Yeah, and I think that this whole idea of political correctness and sort of policing your tone, granted, it may has its place in certain settings, but I think that what we see now it's become practically virtually taboo for men to just be straight up, forthright, and direct. And I think that this political correctness has really played a role into that. And men are feeling as if they have to be nice. We have to play nice. Listen, for those of you listening here, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Christianity and bold strength is not always play nice. It's not always play nice. Okay. Sometimes it's bold, sometimes it's offensive, sometimes it's in your face. Okay. And that's the way we got to be. We listen. You're not going to always align with your friend that's on the left, but what we can do is we can try to wake them up. That's the best. That's all we can really do. Plant a seed and possibly it'll grow and you can wake them up. But I think this show, all in all, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be impactful, and it's going to have a far reach on the young men that has no voice out there, man. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, here's my final thought. My aunt's in here saying using bad language doesn't get you anywhere either. You taught me half the bad language that I use. my aunt taught me half the bad language I use.
Uh-oh. LW, come on.
I had to poke back at her just a little bit. I think I saw my producer in here just a little bit ago, so hopefully we play the outro on the way out. I couldn't get the intro to work at the beginning of the show. But Will, I don't think so. She says, I don't think so. Sure you did. So we'll try the outro if he's in here with us on the way out. But what a great night, Neal.
Great night, man.
It was a good icebreaker for us. And
Definitely a success, man.
The first one is always the hardest one.
Yeah.
And then once we get past the first one, we start inviting guests to come on and stuff.
Yeah.
This show's going to take off. So if you guys could do us a favor before you roll out of here, hit that like button, subscribe, and Neal, next week I'll get the mods the link to your show so we can drop that in chat.
Sweet.
And we'll put that up next week. For you guys, because you guys need to follow Neal. He's got a great show. He's been doing this almost as long as I have, and he's got a great perspective on things. He's got a great audience over there too. I've been in there a couple of times with him, and they're a lot of fun. And I know Carlene and the rest of them jumped over there the last time we were on there, and was in your chat too. So we got the first one. It's always the hard one out of the way, Neal.
Yes, sir.
Sky's the limit, and we're going to continue this. So I see that the producer's in there. So as we leave tonight, folks, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, share this out, and we'll be back next Sunday. As far as I know, we're going to try to go every Sunday about this time. We'll get a time. Transition. Okay, we'll get a time in for sure. So with that being said, sweet. Neal, thank you so much, brother, for joining me.
Absolutely,
and we'll see you next Sunday, brother. And we will go ahead and try to play the outro as we leave. You guys have a great night.
Have a great night, guys. Oh, there it is. Nice outro.
Times I've sacrificed and lost my way. I've been down this road before. I've struggled with the pain when it pours. No one knows how I feel when I have to start again, and there's no one there to save me. Do you know how it feels when your world is gonna end, when I don't have a friend to stand with me? I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna make a comeback and rise up this time. And look into my soul and see a graveyard of crossroads filled with despair and defeat. Look into my eyes and see the haters call my name. Look into my soul and see redemption on its way. The demand is high to risk it all and put it all on the line. I'm gonna take my shot and never stop. I'm gonna swallow my pride and put it all on the line and rise up this time. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah.